Hi, my name's Sonjia and this is my channel, See It Then, See It Now. Today's video is the long-awaited wardrobe makeover. This video was supposed to come out to you guys months ago. We had some issues with Becky's computer and we lost the original edit and had to completely re-edit the whole thing again, which was an absolute nightmare. Then Christmas came along and we had to get all the Christmas ones out, and I did the live stuff in Sophie's wall and there were all sorts of other things going on, so it ended up taking a bit of a back seat. Anyway, we're finally here. I can finally get this wardrobe one out to you. Let's take a look. There was nothing getting this handle off. It was stuck solid. So I raided the supervisor's toolbox and borrowed this machine, which I've never used before. So I'm not gonna lie, I was really nervous about using it, but it didn't seem too bothered about the fact that I was going to use it and didn't really give me any supervision. He left me to it, and so I just thought, do you know what, let's just give it a go. And it wasn't so bad. It came off. It did look a bit of a mess once I got it off, and I did have to do a bit of filling and sanding and things, but I don't know what's going on with my cameras at the moment, but they keep dropping out, and then when they come back on, it's not recording anymore. So I think I've lost quite a bit of the footage for the first part of this. I don't know if there's an internet connection problem or what, but just to get you up to speed as to where I've got to, I started off, I gave it all a quick wipe down. I haven't given it a thorough clean yet, that's coming, but I did give it all a quick wipe down. And then there were quite a lot of gouges. There's some out the side up here and a few on the doors. Where I've taken the handles off, see this here, I've had to fill in around the handles because there was holes in it. One of the handles on the drawers was actually glued on and I couldn't get it off. I don't know if they'd used wood filler or wood glue, but it wasn't coming off and I've had to cut it off, which left me with a very rough surface. I sanded it down, I've filled it in, which is here. Can you see it? Yeah, and so I've got a rough surface, I need to sand that off. So just to get you up to speed, I'm just going to finish taking the hinges off the doors. I'm going to sand any little bits that still need sanding. Then I'm going to give the whole thing a good clean with some sugar soap. Once that's dried, I'm going to mask the inside of the cupboard up so that I don't get paint on the inside. And then we can start getting some primer on it. I just need to get my finger out and get on with it done. Okay, let's go for it. Wouldn't it be good if we could fast forward through this part in real life and get the boring prep bit done really quickly, so all of a sudden I have loads of energy and just be able to go whizzing around at 100 miles an hour getting this boring bit done, instead of it's taking the painstakingly long length of time it takes to do all this boring prep. I think we'd need a lie down once we were finished. I'm using Dixie Belle Slick Stick the same way as I did on the other furniture projects. I do actually really like this product. I think it's really easy to use. I think it goes on nice and even, and I gave the whole thing 2 coats. Once I get to the priming part of a furniture project, I feel like the boring prep work is completed. However, I don't know whether it was just because this was so big, but it seemed to take forever to put these 2 coats on. It was like, oh, have I really only done 1 coat on that door? I've got another door to do. Oh, drawer needs another coat. It just seemed to take forever, obviously with the drying time in between as well. I felt like I was at it for such a long time, just getting these two coats of primer on. Okay, so I've got the second coat of the slick stick on here now. This is all dried. It's had plenty of time to dry. So now I can get the first coat on. Now I've got the wardrobe propped up on some pieces of wood just because I want to, so that I can paint the bottom. But I need to take it off the pieces of wood because I need to measure up the side, and it'll just be easier when it's sat on the floor. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to paint around this bottom plinth in the dusty blue. Now I have, when I did the last project, the last furniture project, someone kind of left me a message saying that it's easy to blend if you put an extender in. Floetrol was what was recommended. Unfortunately in the UK it would appear you cannot buy Floetrol except for online, and it takes days and days to come. So I've bought an alternative, but it doesn't really tell me how much I'm supposed to put in. Now this is quite thick, it's just the last bit of the paint, so I thought I'd just experiment and put a bit in this and see, just test it really and see what I end up with. So I'm going to pour a little bit in, mix it up, and I'm going to finish this bit off first before I get a fresh tub and start using the new tub I bought. This bottle was really squidgy, and as I picked it up it squidged in and all the product came shooting out of the top. It made a right mess. But anyway, moving on, there isn't a lot of blending to do on this project, so using the extender was purely a bit of an experiment. I also have a tale to tell about those 2 pieces of wood that's propping the wardrobe up. Okay, so I took the hinges off this because I didn't want to get paint on it when we started putting the slip stick on. I didn't want to get paint on. But I kept those little clips on the back so that I could just put it in position like this, so that I can measure where I want the paint to go. Because this wardrobe is going to sit next to the set of drawers that I've already made. So I wanted them to match because they're literally going to sit side by side. I wanted it to match, but I didn't want to match it exactly, so I didn't want to like put Parisienne on and the same writing and do it exactly the same. So what I thought might be a bit of fun would be to carry on the set of drawers. I did the napkin, and the napkin decoupage, it came up, it came across and it went off the other side. So this is going to be next to where it goes off. So what I thought might be good would be to carry the napkin across here and across up there. I just thought let's just go with that, because I've racked my brain a little bit as to what we could do to make it different but similar enough for them to match. And I've toyed with a few ideas, but I quite like the idea of having this napkin going across, so that's what I'm going to go with. So I just need to mark approximately where my napkin's going to be going, because I thought it would be good to do the bottom half of the wardrobe blue and the top half of the wardrobe, so the bottom half of the wardrobe in the dusky blue, top half of the wardrobe in haint blue, and have the napkin being the divide between the two colours. So I just need to measure. I'm just going to quickly measure on the drawers where the napkin comes to. Once I had my measurements of where the napkin needed to start on the door and where it needed to finish on the door, I just drew some pencil lines on the doors just to give me an idea of approximately where I was going to take the napkin. Once I had those lines, I knew where I needed to paint, and I set about painting the bottom half of the wardrobe in the dusty blue and the top half of the wardrobe in the haint blue. The blended part of this project is going to be covered up by the napkin, but I didn't want to leave it not blended, just in case there was any harsh lines between the two colours that could be seen through the napkin. It also gave me the opportunity to practice my blending. Once the first coat was dry, I added a second coat. I decided to add some of the same mouldings across the top of the wardrobe that I'd used across the bottom plinth on the set of drawers. So I measured and glued all these in place, and I made them from the resin in exactly the same way as I did when I did the set of drawers. I didn't get any quicker or better at the measuring side of this either. I just cut it all out so you didn't see the painstakingly long length of time that it actually took me to get these mouldings in place. Problem that I've got is that this plinth is not sat straight, so I've got a thicker gap at this side than I have at that side, which is causing me a little bit of bother, making the job more interesting. Once the glue was dry, I painted the moulds in haint blue paint, just to help me highlight any gaps and where I needed to fill in. Once that paint was dry, I then filled in the gaps using wood filler, and I found that a little paintbrush worked really well just to help me push the filler into all the little nooks and crannies. Once the wood filler was dry, I then painted over it again with the haint blue. This whole process was a little bit fiddly and time consuming, but it was worthwhile once it was done. Now onto the decoupage, and I love decoupage as a craft. Not only can you make amazing transformations, but I also really just enjoy doing the craft. Doing a big project like this, it's like I just go off into my own little world of creating, and I never tire, I never get bored, I never feel like it's taking too long, and I get totally focused and in my own little decoupage bubble. So I'm just going to carry on with more of the same and take it up here and up out the top. I have covered decoupage in other videos, but just some quick notes to consider. Start in the centre of your napkin piece and work your way out to the edges to avoid creases. Use a sponge to dab or a plastic bag to smooth out any wrinkles, and don't touch the napkin with your fingers once it's wet, or it will stick to your fingers, it will come up off your project and will just generally just make a mess. When I did the drawers, I absolutely loved what this stenciling looked like on the side, and the side of the drawers are not going to show, so I've decided to do the same on the side of this wardrobe because I just think it looks so pretty. So I've measured down and got my stencil on, and I've took some of the wording out using masking tape like I did when I did the drawers, and I'm just going to use the same colours, and I'm just going to, it was just this dark blue, I can't remember what it's called, I will put it in the description box, and white acrylic, and I mixed the two together and got different shades of blue. So I'm just going to do exactly the same thing. I now needed to paint all along the top and bottom of the design just to cover the edges of the napkin so that the blue on the doors went all the way up to the edge of the flowers. This was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. It didn't take anywhere near as long as I thought it was going to, and it didn't need to be perfect, but it really did finish it off and make a big difference to the overall look. Back to the mouldings now, and I used some silver gilding wax just to highlight the pattern. I found this piece such a challenge, and there were a few points where I felt like it was going to beat me. I felt like I was never going to get it to look right, and just when I thought I was winning, I had a bit of an accident, luckily without injury. So I started putting the doors back on the front of the wardrobe, and I wasn't paying attention, and I still had the wardrobe propped up on those pieces of wood that were on the floor, and I pulled on one of the doors just to straighten it, and the whole wardrobe fell forward on top of me. But there was nothing for me to grab hold of. It was all that space that was inside the wardrobe. So 1 minute I'm knelt on the floor fighting with hinges, and then next thing I'm literally inside a toppled over wardrobe. The supervisor came running into the rescue, lifting the wardrobe up, and he was like, "What are you doing?" Like I'd chosen to just go climb under a toppled over wardrobe. Luckily I'd not hurt myself at all. Unluckily I didn't get it on camera, so unfortunately I can't share that with you, but there was a little bit of damage to the wardrobe which I had to then repair, and there was also a little bit of damage to the door frame on the bedroom, which I also ended up having to do a little bit of repair on. But apart from that, it could have been a whole lot worse. So let's have a reminder and see it then. And let's see it now. This furniture makeover was by far my most challenging to date. It very nearly broke me, and I don't just mean when the wardrobe fell on top of me. But I absolutely love how it turned out. I think it looks amazing. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments and hit that like button. It is full steam ahead on getting that bedroom finished now, and I'm just in the process of upcycling the bed. I'm going to be making a headboard. Neither of those are going to be blue. Bit of a spoiler alert, but I'm not doing them blue. I need to do bedside tables, bedside lamps, some decor items for in there, curtains. If any of this may be of interest to you and you're not already subscribed, then please do consider subscribing. It does help my channel to grow, and I really do appreciate each and every one of my subscribers, so please do consider subscribing. You can also follow me on Facebook and Instagram, and I think all that's left for me to say is thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.